Arrowheads as markers to the hidden Yamashita treasure, Part 1. When it comes to arrow signs used by the Japanese Imperial Army as markers to their hidden Yamashita treasures, many are actually interpreting them the wrong way, especially the amateurs. Since I noticed this in most of the comments and private messages that I often respond to, this gave me the reason to prioritize this topic among others. So what exactly is an arrow sign? What you are seeing right now on this illustration is an example of a traditional arrow sign. Its front end is what we commonly refer to as the arrow tip, or arrowhead, while the long straight line behind it is its body. When it comes to its meaning, the arrow tip or head is pointing towards the correct direction. Its straight body means that you have to follow the direction onwards on a straight path. Aside from this traditional arrow sign used by the Japanese Imperial Army in marking their Yamashita treasures, there are actually many other different versions that you will most likely encounter. And of course, each of them have different meanings. On this first part of the arrow sign series videos, we are going to cover the type of arrow signs, similar to what is being shown on this illustration. Only the part of the arrow tip, or arrowhead, is engraved where it does not have the body. We can compare this symbol to the letter V of the English alphabet, or the number 5 of the Roman numerals. If this is the type of marker that you have found in your site, then it means that the item is buried right underneath it. As an example, if you found this marker engraved on the surface of a huge rock, what you need to do is to dig underneath it. However, there is also another different meaning of this arrowhead sign, where it also represents a certain hidden tunnel on your site. Another one is that it is commonly used to represent unprocessed or treasure deposits. Sometimes, this is the version of the arrowhead that you may encounter on your site. It has a very short body similar to what is being shown in this illustration. Here is an example of this particular arrowhead. Its meaning is really quite interesting because it is directly pointing into the exact spot where the treasure deposit is hidden. What you are seeing right now on this illustration is a marker that is composed of 3 arrowheads. And common among them is that they are all pointing into one direction. So when it comes to its interpretation, they are actually trying to indicate that there is a tunnel entrance. In some cases, some of the Japanese Imperial soldiers did not carve their arrowheads perfectly, where they often carve them in a way similar to the number 7 symbol. As one of the common examples, we have here the 7C marker. We have already covered this sign in the past videos, where it indicates a hidden entrance. But as an additional detail to its meaning, the direction where you can locate the entrance is being pointed by the arrowhead. This sign is composed of an arrowhead, pointing in a downward direction. At the bottom, there is a short horizontal line. What this sign means is that you need to start digging right on the surface of the spot being pointed by the arrowhead, and continue your way downward. This sign looks almost exactly the same as the previous one, but the difference is that its straight line is at the left side of the arrowhead. At the bottom is one long line that curves around it. This long line actually represents the entire site. As for the arrowhead and the straight line, it means that the treasure deposit is buried at the south portion of the site. As for this marker, it is composed of an arrowhead pointing towards the right side. At the tip of the arrowhead is a short line that goes downward. The meaning of this sign means that you need to follow the direction of the arrowhead until a distance of 15 feet. This line actually represents the distance, where each line has an equivalent value of 15 feet. So if it happens that you have discovered a similar sign to this, but has two lines instead of just one, it means that the distance reaches up to 30 feet. Sometimes, the Japanese imperial soldiers had drawn their arrowhead signs in the form of a triangle. This is the reason why you really need to carefully study them, because it could lead to misinterpretation. Here is an example of a triangle sign as an arrowhead. Just like the previous marker, this one has two lines at its tip. And just like the previous featured sign, they have the same exact meaning. It means that you need to travel from that point onwards to 30 feet. Another version of this marker can also be like this. The lines are on top of the triangle symbol, but the meaning remains the same. Just like what you are seeing in this illustration, this sign is composed of three triangle symbols. In my other past videos, I have already mentioned that one of the common meanings of triangle is that it represents the hidden treasure deposit. But on this sign, it is interpreted differently. Only the one at the middle represents the hidden treasure deposit, while the other two triangles on both sides are interpreted as arrowheads. So when it comes to its meaning, it means that the treasure deposit is underneath. If this marker is found engraved on the surface of a huge rock, the item could be hidden underneath it, or inside the rock itself. What you are seeing on this illustration is an interesting marker, where it is directly pointing into the exact location of the hidden treasure deposit. At this angle, we can describe this sign as a triangle with a long straight line underneath it. But the eye-catching part of this marker can be viewed at this angle. At this angle, we can clearly notice that this marker is a flag sign. The flag is actually an arrowhead, where it is pointing into the correct direction where the item is hidden. Here is another version of this marker with better details. This marker is composed of 4 arrowheads with a hole at the middle, similar to what is being shown on this illustration. When it comes to its meaning, it means that there is a hidden entrance under the ground. Just like what you are seeing on this illustration here, this marker is composed of 2 arrowheads that coincide with one another. The meaning of this sign means that there are 2 separate treasure deposits on the site hidden on opposite sides. And finally, we have here our last featured sign on this video. It is composed of an arrowhead that is pointing at a downward direction. Below it is a line with arrowheads at both ends. Just like the other previous marker, this sign means that there are 2 separate treasure deposits, hidden on opposite sides of the site. Before we end this video, I would like to show you markers which illustrate the different forms of arrowheads that you may encounter on your treasure hunting site.